Here's how you fulfill your dream of winning the Eurovision Song Contest in 6 easy steps. First, be a singer. It helps to be a good vocalist, but it's not always a must. Statistically, female solo singers singing ballads have the best chance of winning, but recently a diverse set of artists and genres have won. So just be yourself and it should be fine. If people start leaving the room when you sing your favorite song at karaoke, songwriting might be the better choice for you. Most people forget that the songwriters of a winning entry are also Eurovision winners, even though they usually don't get a lot of media attention. So you have chosen the right profession. Step 2. You need to find a good song. In Eurovision, you can go for a heartfelt, emotional ballad that pulls at people's heartstrings, a fun pop song that makes them dance, or a comedy or joke entry that tries to make them laugh. Though no comedy song has won Eurovision yet. Maybe humor just doesn't travel well. So maybe stick to either a ballad or a pop song. Rock music and other genres have also won, and they make you stand out. Whichever genre you choose, make sure your song is unique, accessible, catchy, and just plain good. Easy peasy, right? So you have the perfect song. Now comes step number 3. You need to find out if your country is one of the usually 40 that will participate in the next Eurovision. Most European countries are in, some, especially in Eastern Europe, are often not. But Australia is. It's complicated. If your own country is not on the list, find a country that is and try to figure out whether they allow foreigners to represent them. In Eurovision itself, there is no rule that a singer or songwriter has to actually be from the country they represent. An American and a Dane won with a song representing Germany, Swedes have written songs for almost everyone at this point, and a certain Canadian, Salut Céline, won for Switzerland in 1988. However, some participating countries do have rules on who can apply to represent them. So get to reading the rules, and if no one wants you, there is always San Marino, which has a giant national final and allows almost anyone to compete. Once you have found your country of choice, we go to step number 4. You need to win the right to represent them, sometimes against fierce competition. Some countries organize national finals where singers compete for the right to represent their country. The most successful include Sweden's Melodifestivalen, Italy's Sanremo Festival, and Estonia's Eesti Laul. So convince the viewers to vote for you, and bam, you are representing the country at Eurovision. Other countries have internal selections, like the UK, Switzerland, or France in recent years, usually with several selection stages in which juries or so-called VIPs of the national broadcaster select a song and singer they think can represent the country well. So convince those dudes and bam, you are representing that country at Eurovision. Once you are selected, you have to go through thousands of interviews and have Eurovision YouTubers dissect every outfit and every performance. If you get through all that, you arrive at step number 5, the Eurovision SemiFinals. At Eurovision, you have to qualify from one of the 2 semifinals to make it to the grand final. In the last 2 years, the semifinal qualifiers were decided by televoters only, so bring out all the charm and vocal chops and convince the people voting all over Europe, though only from the participating countries in the semifinal, to vote for you. Televoters usually prefer an upbeat fun song, so maybe you should have chosen that in step number 2. And being memorable is also very important, so a fun, splashy outfit can't hurt. Be one of the top 10 in the semi-final because the rest unfortunately don't make it. At this point, you might not be too happy to have chosen San Marino in step 3, as some countries, especially smaller ones, are less likely to qualify than others. But still, you made the top 10 and boom, you are a finalist at the Eurovision Song Contest. You might be especially happy if you are representing the UK, Italy, Germany, Spain or France, because these 5 don't have to qualify from the semis and are automatically in the final because of something called the Big 5 rule. They contribute a lot of the funds and viewers for the competition, so not having them in the final would be economically not ideal. Step 6. You have now made it to the final. Congratulations! You are now facing 26 competitors who have the same dream as you and want to win just as badly. To actually win, you need to convince televoters from all participating countries to vote for you. So bring out the charm, the vocal chops, and anything you have, really. Each country gets to hand out 12 points for its favorite song, 10 points for the second favorite, 8 points for the third, all the way down to 1. The numbers 11 and 9 are heavily discriminated in Eurovision. You cannot vote for your own country, by the way, so you need to convince everyone else to vote for you. You should appeal to all kinds of demographics and regions because, as mentioned earlier, each country, no matter how big or small, gets the same amount of points to hand out. So no matter whether you have 83 million people voting like Germany, or 33,000 like San Marino. However, convincing the ordinary plebs only gets you halfway to reaching your goal. In the final, juries in each participating country also get to hand out 12 points for their favorite, 10 points for their… I think you get the drill. So they suddenly account for 50% of the votes. What the televoters like, fun, splashy, out there entries, the juries do not, so here you might want to look more professional. Maybe now you think you should have chosen a ballad because juries like those, but you also don't want to scare off too many televoters with a boring song, so maybe stick with the upbeat one. To keep viewers interested, you should also find an impressive and memorable staging for your song. It is called Eurovision, after all. Another factor is the running order spot you get in the final, though you can't really influence that. The second spot is called the death spot, because in 70 years no song has ever won from that position. Statistically, it is best to perform later on in the final, but also not too late when half the televoters at viewing parties are already too drunk to remember you. So convince enough televoters and jury members to beat out the competition, and bam, you fulfilled your dream of being a Eurovision winner. Congratulations. So be a good singer or songwriter, find or write a great song, find a country to represent, win their national selection, qualify from the semi-final, and win the final. And this is how you win Eurovision in 6 easy steps.